18-year-old Kyle Rittenhouse acquitted on all 5 charges, including 2 counts of homicide. This morning, we hear President Biden's reaction to the jury's decision. Plus, protests in cities from coast to coast, including here at home in Wisconsin, the messages from activists following the verdict. And a community in healing, how local groups in Kenosha are using movement to find peace and solidarity after months of division. TMJ4 News Today starts right now.
All the information you need to start your morning. This is TMJ4 News Today.
Good Saturday morning. Thanks for watching TMJ4 News Today. I'm Ryan Jenkins, and we have a lot to get to this morning as people all across southeastern Wisconsin are reacting to that decision from a Kenosha jury to acquit Kyle Rittenhouse on all charges. But first, we do want to get your day started with a check-in with meteorologist Marissa Wallison and a look at what's happening outside this morning. Seems like it's going to be a pretty decent Saturday.
Yes, decent I think would be the best word to describe it, because we're going to see some positives, but it's not necessarily going to be a beautiful sunny day with extremely warm temperatures by any means. But this morning we are starting off with calm conditions in terms of no rain coming through, though it is windy across the area. Right now winds are out of the south about 12, though we are still looking at some gusts up to about 25 miles per hour. Current air temperature 38 in Milwaukee, so a bit of a chilly start, but of course it could always be colder. Winds right now are mainly out of the south. Our sustained winds are between about 5 and 15, but again we're still looking at gusts up to about 25 miles per hour. Good news is though winds will weaken as we move throughout the day today. Taking a look at Storm 4 Max satellite and radar. A lot of clouds across the area this morning and a couple of light flurries up towards Fond du Lac and Sheboygan counties. I know it looks like there's quite a bit of snow, but mainly just looking at some flurries there with no accumulating snow expected. Temperatures are just above the freezing mark. Most of us are in the mid 30s as you're waking up this morning. Again, the wind's making it feel just a bit colder, but we're going to see the winds weaken later today and temperatures will be warmer than yesterday by about 10 degrees. So that puts us back into the upper 40s, right about average for this time of year. We're just going to hold on to a lot of clouds across the area today. So we're not going to see a warm up with sunshine. It's still just going to be cloudy with the warm up. I'll have a close look though at our chances for some rain or snow as we move towards Thanksgiving coming up in just a bit. Ryan.
It is 5:02 on this Saturday morning, and after 3.5 days of deliberation, a jury has found Kyle Rittenhouse not guilty on all counts. The teen was charged with shooting and killing 2 men last year and injuring a third when riots broke out in Kenosha following the police shooting of Jacob Blake. Rittenhouse was facing up to life in prison if he had been found guilty of homicide, the most serious charge against him. Now, verdict sheets from the Rittenhouse trial show the jury decided he was not guilty of killing Anthony Huber on Wednesday, not guilty for Gage Grosskreuz's injury yesterday, and CNN's Sarah Snyder is reporting that the other verdicts were decided on Friday. Among those now reacting to that verdict is President Joe Biden.
Well, look, I stand by what the jury has concluded. The jury system works and we have to abide by it.
The president later in the day releasing this statement, reading in part, quote, "While the verdict in Kenosha will leave many Americans feeling angry and concerned, myself included, we must acknowledge that the jury has spoken," end quote. And then he added, quote, "The White House and federal authorities have been in contact with Governor Evers' office to prepare for any outcome in this case," end quote. And we are also hearing from lawyers on both sides. Thomas Binger, the lead prosecutor, said, quote, "While we are disappointed with the verdict, it must be respected. We are grateful to the members of the jury and their diligent and thoughtful deliberations. The Kenosha community has endured much over the past 15 months, and yet we remain resilient and strong. We ask that members of our community continue to express their opinions and feelings about this verdict in a civil and peaceful manner." And we also heard from defense attorney Mark Richards, and he spoke about the time that it took for the jury to reach this not guilty verdict. Listen to this.
I've never seen a jury, and I don't mean this as a slight to them, but they didn't have a lot of questions. We had no information that they ever fought. They were just working through the issues.
I was not guilty.
Again, that jury returned a not guilty verdict for Kyle Rittenhouse on all of those charges. And demonstrations took to the streets Friday night in cities across the U.S. to protest that verdict in the Kyle Rittenhouse trial. In New York, you can see a crowd gathered outside the Barclays Center in Brooklyn. And on the other side of the country, in Oakland, protests remained peaceful late into the night as activists called for justice. And our Tony Atkins followed the protest that developed back here in Wisconsin, and here's what people down in Kenosha had to say after the jury's verdict.
It was a decision that was going to leave many upset one way or another. Tonight, Kyle Rittenhouse is a free man.
Hands down, fist up.
A moment of silence for protesters opposed to today's verdict. This time in honor of Joseph Rosenbaum and Anthony Huber, the men killed last August by Kyle Rittenhouse.
We, the jury, find the defendant, Kyle H. Rittenhouse, not guilty.
The decision puzzling for some who say justice for Huber and Rosenbaum was not served.
I just wanted the people who never seen that it wasn't justice before see that it really don't work.
This case has torn the veil off of the system of oppression.
But not everyone felt the same way. After the verdict, Rittenhouse supporter Brandon Letzko stood alone atop a guardrail at the steps of the courthouse holding a Free Kyle sign.
I haven't been protesting at all. I've been out here trying to support the Rittenhouse family, and it's been really rewarding.
Do you see this as a point where we can reflect regardless of what we believe in and really start a dialogue?
I would hope so. I'm going to tell you, I was out here today. Maybe 10% of the people will have dialogue with me, and the other 90% just will yell profanities at me, and they came in with closed minds on the trial.
These are superheroes.
And as the names of Rosenbaum and Huber are remembered, people here say that dialogue means nothing if the system doesn't treat people of color and white people equally in courts of law.
If America is supposed to represent equality and justice on a scale, there was no balance for either.
And I also spoke with Justin Blake. He says that the protesting will continue this Sunday at 2 o'clock. They do have another protest planned here in town. Reporting in Kenosha, Tony Atkins, TMJ4 News.
All right, Tony, thank you. And there are some more protests planned for today, including one at Red Arrow Park here in Milwaukee. That starts at noon. And of course, it's been an emotional couple of days down in Kenosha as the trial came to an end. Jessica Maduker shows us how one part of the community tried to put their focus into something positive.
There are a lot of different ways to show feelings, and here across from the local Boys and Girls Club in Kenosha, it was all about getting together to work out their emotions through yoga.
Scream it out.
Emotions of anger and frustration were unleashed at a yoga class promoting healing.
With yoga goes breath work.
And in frigid temperatures, bundled up, people inhaled and exhaled their grief together.
And the more you bend your knees.
Reverend Monica Cummings has been doing these outdoor yoga classes since the shooting of Jacob Blake. The last 2 years have rocked her community more than she could have ever imagined. But through it all, she found a way to heal.
And it's about being in community. And when you're in community, you know, folks are hugging one another and feeling loved and not feeling alone. And that's the first step towards healing. Is not like you're in this on your own, that you have a community surrounding you, a community holding you.
Other community organizers like Kyle Johnson with Black Leaders Organizing for Communities have set up safe spaces in Kenosha. Johnson has been here since Tuesday, organizing yoga classes, food and music. As emotions run high, the need to be together remains strong.
There's a lot of feelings about this trial. There's a lot of feelings about this verdict. I haven't quite yet had time to even process it, but I always know I feel better grieving or being angry when I'm with other folks.
Healing will be a journey for this community, but many believe it's moments in spaces like this that are an opportunity to step in the right direction. Reporting in Kenosha, Jessica Maduker, TMJ4 News.
Jessica, thank you. It is 5:09 now on this Saturday morning. Coming up on TMJ4 News today, the CDC gives the green light for all adults to get a coronavirus booster shot. Just how many more Americans will be able to get an extra dose of the vaccine as soon as today?